Critics say it portrays racial stereotypes and also makes light of violence toward women. It was all created by a black man who says the storyline is so bizarre it was never meant to be taken seriously.
I know my rights!
The premise of these online ads is absurd enough.
Give it to me.
A crazy goat who becomes obsessed with Mountain Dew.
Give me more, I want it!
They've gotten 2 million views since March. And now there's a sequel.
Come on, which one is he?
But this morning, some are calling this the most racist commercial ever.
It's me. You should have gave me some more.
The ad features that battered waitress, now on crutches, being urged to identify a suspect out of a lineup of black men.
You better not snitch on a player.
This ad is destructive because it further pushes forward the stereotype of black men as being violent criminals.
The backlash growing so big, PepsiCo just pulled the 60-second spot saying, "We apologize for this video and take full responsibility."
I think designers should show diversity by incorporating cultures into their work. However, they should avoid stereotypes because they offend those who are being targeted by them. I have seen some advertisements that are humorous rather than offensive, but I've also seen many ads that seem to intentionally come out as offensive. That is why I think designers should be respectful and also professional when creating these ads.
I think as a designer, our job is to encompass cultures in our work all the time. I think that we take inspiration from cultures, different cultures, and use them in our designs and advertising. I think that it is important to reference culture because that's what our life is all about, is our culture. I think that our job is to find the essence of a culture and to represent that in a respectful way as much as we can.
Absolutely. A designer's job requires them to speak or communicate to the masses. So depending on what job they're actually receiving, what they're actually working towards within either a corporate sense or in a freelance sense, their job is basically to talk to everyone, to be able to talk to everyone, to be able to communicate with everyone through visuals and through text as well.
You need to have a respect for culture, but you also need to understand that as a designer, your job is to advertise, and your job is to, in advertising, you're supposed to sell. And in one way that we do sell is to create shock value, and a lot of times a way to create a shock value or a shock message is to utilize parts of culture that are shocking or provocative.
There's a corporate identity involved. There's a lot of corporate influence involved. They have their own art department. They have most likely their own design department. They are telling you as a designer what they would like to see. So it's not really a designer that's doing the offending. Some people may really hate what you're saying. They may really hate that Burger King ad, but are they still going to buy Burger King? Most likely, yes. Do I believe that they're being sensitive? Yes, I do, because I believe that this is more of a humoristic approach towards selling something.
I think that a way that you could change it to make it less offensive is to make the images that they're utilizing from the culture be more graphic, maybe outline, more cartoon-like in a way, more simplified, maybe just a shadow. Like, you don't always need the entire, I think this is the Krishna, you don't need the entire image. You can do just the outline of the image and still get your idea across, but not necessarily be as offensive.
I guess that's just something that we would have to really plan with, you know, the actual corporation or with the person that's trying to hire you on to do the actual artwork. So in this stance, I mean, there's a couple different things that I might do. Maybe focus a little bit more on the food itself rather than showing the people that are involved in it. Or maybe having some sort of interesting take on the actual culture itself that's not necessarily, degrading it, if that's what people are seeing. So like where you've got the cowboy and then you've got, the guy with like, I think it's a Nacho Libre, right? Okay, with the, Mexican flag is kind of like a large poncho. Instead of showing something like this, I think that it could be focused a little bit more on the food. And I think that you also have to think a little bit too, the masses, especially in America, sometimes a lot of designers and a lot of, I I would say like more marketing approach is to kind of play up a stereotype. And I think the reason that they do that is because sometimes people are not that well versed in a certain culture. So to them, this may literally be how the culture is. And that's, I'm not saying that that's right or wrong, but they may understand by looking at, you know, like the Western guy, like the cowboy. Oh, okay, this is going to be more like, I get it, Texas, right? Or maybe looking at the Nacho Libre with the Mexican poncho. They might actually, a Mexican flag is a poncho. They might say like, oh, okay, I get it. So I think that sometimes too it can be a little bit hard depending on who you're trying to focus on to break away from stereotypes sometimes, because most people are not massively educated. You have to be able to speak to everyone, just like I said in the beginning. It is a designer's job to be able to communicate with the masses. So it's just a delicate balance in general.
Julia, turn the frown the other way around.
Hey, Dave, you're from Minnesota, right?
Yes, the land of 10,000 lakes, the Gopher State.
So in conclusion, things are pretty dismal.
You know what this room needs? A smile. Who wanna come with I?
Traveling along, there's a song that we're singing. Come on, get happy.
You guys are 3 minutes late.
Don't be no cloud on a sunny day.
Yeah, chill, Winston.
Sir?
Respect, bossman.
That's the power of German engineering.
Okay, Dale Hughley, your chance to weigh in right now. Charles Blow, the New York Times, says it's racist. What do you say?
I can't understand what I'm supposed to be mad about.
It does raise the question, DL. The nation of Jamaica says it doesn't have a problem with it. It thinks it's funny. Who decides what's racist?
And their tears are filling up their glasses. No expression, no expression. Mad world, mad world.
No, I don't think designers should stop incorporating different cultures into their work, because depending on the culture incorporated, viewers are able to relate. And it is easier for viewers to be convinced to purchase a product if they are able to relate to what's going on in the ads, making it easier for them to buy the product. In some ads, maybe the viewer does exaggerate because some ads aren't very offensive, but some viewers might take the ad the wrong way and won't see it as a joke because the ad relates to them. And like I said earlier, when you can relate to something, you connect to it. So that's why they might feel offended. But most ads are meant to be as a joke to convince the viewers to buy the product that they're trying to sell. I think I would change the way the picture is framed so that it would be less offensive. The wording affects the viewers, so if the words come off as too strong, the viewers will get offended. But if the wording is kind of relatable and understood and not too strong, then the viewer might not be too offended by it. I think that the viewer should blame the company instead of the designer, because the designer works for a specific company and they do what the company wants them specifically to do. So depending on the product they're trying to sell, the ads are going to be different. But if the ads come out offensive, then it wouldn't be the designer's fault, because it is their job to send a message to the public about that product they're trying to sell. I care about this dilemma because I don't want my Mexican culture to be shown in such a stereotypical way, because it's disrespectful and insulting. I also don't want my community to feel offended by these advertisements. The people in my community are very diverse, and I think their culture as well as mine should be portrayed in a respectful manner.